Check it.
So we're just having a bit of a laugh here because what's his car seemed to have had a lot of, Kevin?
This. I'm not brave enough to fix that.
You can just see where all the paint's worn off on the edges where people have just been like...
Not a chance.
just leaning on it, looking at it, like... And it's the same over that side. Kevin, what are we deciding?
Just looking at Euro spares, and we're deciding whether we are brave enough to weld that £14,000 panel on, with the risk of if it's wrong, we have to cut it off.
So these panels are actually for sale at the moment on Euro spares for £14,000.
A switch.
A switch? 1,000? Hold on. That little switch there. Show me that on there. £1,326 for a switch.
Oh look, hang on.
Wow. £15,000 for a front panel.
That.
That is crazy. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video on the Ferrari 328 GTS restoration project. So previously you'll have seen us checking out all the electrical on the front half of this car. We've checked all these wires to the front side lights and the front indicators on both sides. We know all those work. We've got our headlights now working after replacing all those dodgy relays. These now pop up and everything works there. We checked out all our fan wiring. We made sure the fan's activated, which they do. So now we can confidently fit this nose cone that you'll see to the side of me there back on this car, knowing that everything from this front end to the fuse panel has all been tested and in working order. Because we don't want to weld that back on here and then find that stuff isn't working underneath, because once that is welded on, it's not going to come back off. So the next job we've got to do on this is to clean this nose cone up. There is a bit of loose stuff under there, a few little bits of rust, nothing serious. So we're going to clean all the loose flaky stuff off that, we're going to rust treat it, and then we're going to paint that and prep all these edges up ready for that to be welded back on here. Once that is on, we can then start to mock up our front bumper again. Make sure everything is going to line up properly before we do the final fix and the full welding of that front panel. Once the bumper is on and the nose cone's on, we can then move into our doors, get our doors on and check all the gaps and all the lines match up properly. There is a groove all the way down this car that runs from the front panel all the way to the back bumper. We need to make sure that is spot on and that all lines up properly and perfectly. So the next thing to do, guys, like I said, is to get on with this nose cone. There's lots and lots to do. This car is in for paint on the first week of December. So much to do before then, so let's get to it, guys. Let's see if we can get this done. Let's go. Right, we've got the bulk of the crud out. Obviously you can see there's some little bits here that are a little bit dark. These are the areas that are going to need treating with some rust cure. For this we're using a product called Built Hamber Hydrate 80. And we trialled and tested lots and lots of rust treatments over the years, and Built Hamber has never let us down, and that is the product that we go to. There is some little bits that need some work. As you can see there is a split in the panel, so that's going to want a weld. We've cleaned up these edges. Again, we've got the bulk of it off. I am going to go in here with our little roll lock tool and clean this up a little bit further. This is just to get the bulk of it off. We've got the same issue on this side. We've got a split in the panel there that wants a repair. So we'll get all these edges dollied, get all these nice and flat using a hammer and dolly. And then we can look at getting some paint on this once we've got these repairs done. Get this all treated, get it painted, get it ready. Let's go back on the car. So we've got our front panel all cleaned up, treated and painted and ready for going on the car. So we're going to lift this over here now, trial fit it. We're going to put some Clecos in to hold it in place, and then we're just going to try a few things like the wipers, make sure the wiper mech isn't catching anywhere and that it's actually fitted correctly before we actually weld this on completely. So that is the plan. We're going to lift that on here now and see how it fits. Are you ready? Yes. 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 Sure. Yes. For you. That way. Go for it. It's a chance.
What's the expensive mount, please?
What?
What's the expensive mount?
Manta? What about the manta?
Right, pass that back on.
Yeah, just set my rubbers there, so one squidging down.
Your side want to come forward. So we're right on load lines either.
Yeah. Right, so what we're going to do now is start to put some Clecos in. I'll just show you what a Cleco is. So if you don't know, Cleco is basically a body tool. So if you squeeze that, you have a little, see these little holes we have at the front, not these ones, these are where we're going to spot weld it, but there is some more little holes at the front. So you pass that through the hole, you release it, and it actually pulls your two panels together, squeezes them up, gets them nice and tight, hold your panel in place while you spot weld it. What we're going to do now is we're going to actually clamp this in its forward position, and to set that forward position, we've got a lip there. So we know that is supposed to be spot welded. These two panels there are spot welded together. So once we've got that forward position, we can then clamp it down, because if we clamp it down first, we're not going to be able to move that forward to get it to butt up on the front edge down here. So that is the plan. We're going to put a load of clamps across here now, set that forward position, and then go downwards.
pretty even, but clamp that down. Let's see if the headlights come up without.
Is it worth getting a couple of cleats in there forward first? I think we get a couple of those.
Right, is that like an L section?
Yeah, that's an angle.
Right.
So the plan now is we're going to drill a couple of holes in this front edge, because behind there is actually an L section, and this front edge will butt up against the L section behind it. So we're going to put a couple of clecos in there to get this front end set as far forward as it'll go to match this back end. Now we know our side to side because we can use this panel. This panel stays on the front panel, which is individual to the front light. So as long as we get these edges set against that front light, then we know that our side to side is correct. So obviously this panel will come down once we've clecoed it, and that gives us a nice gap all the way around the light and across this back edge, so we know this side to side is correct.
Can't be down any more this side because it's on that bracket at the side as well where it bolts through it.
What's the problem?
You've used all my drills.
Use
the clecos.
at all.
All my drill bits.
You're the one that's been using the clecos. And
Damn
your
it.
rusty old Manta. First time the clecos have come out on the Ferrari.
Hold it in the right place now, under there.
That needs to go to you a little bit, looking at it. Undo that. Undo yours. What's your headlight set like, gap wise?
Spot on, but we're talking about hand-built cars here, Andrew.
Yes, I know that, Kevin. But it still needs to make sure that that looks pretty good.
So we test the headlights. See if you come up without catching.
We can do.
Let's do that bathroom.
Not going to jump out at me, am I? I'm going to click them on.
We don't know.
So now we've got this clamped in place, we're just going to try these headlights and make sure they open and close without catching on anything. So give them a whirl, Kev, let's see what happens. Beautiful.
Not bad. I think if anything it's touching on the back, it's just moving that.
Yeah, yours needs to come down a little bit there, yeah, anyway.
Try that watch.
Yeah, but by the time that's pressed down,
Hitting your side.
no, my side's perfect.
Got it. Definitely squeaking on that.
So that edge,
This can't come back anymore because we're bang on it. Well,
no, it needs to come.
look at that edge, it's still quite tall. That needs to come down somehow. Well, that's set like this, so it's not going to come down because that's perfect in here.
We need to do something to make that come down a bit. Right, so we need to look at that. So this is why we've tried this, guys, because you can see there, these headlights are just catching this panel very, very slightly. So we need to make some slight alterations to give this a little bit more clearance. Right, so we've made some slight adjustments to the headlights. You can actually move these headlights around on the bracket. So we've moved them forward a little bit and they now operate. So we know we've got the tolerance there now with this welded on. So once we've got this welded on, we know we can move this around a little bit and just get these gaps perfect. The gaps are not perfect at the minute, but as I'm saying, we know we've actually got a little bit of movement in there. So if we just try that now, Kev. Back down. Again. Yep. So now we know that we've got the movement we need in those. We can now carry on with this, getting this welded in, and we can always come back to these at a later date and just get all these gaps absolutely perfect. Cleco time. Happy days. Right, so now we've got our forward position sorted. We've more or less got our side-to-side position sorted with these, because we know these are pretty much there. So we're happy with that now. We can crack on. Let's get some more clamps on this. Let's start to spot weld this thing back in place.
I'd say that needs pressing down to get a cleco in it. Or even get a cleco in the middle.
Well, we can get... Where's our other clamps? Yeah, that one. Follow that down. That is as down as it's going to go.
Clamp heavily.
I've locked in place now. Use this one.
Yeah. That one's too big. Where did you clamp it?
Right, enough. Right, back to me a little bit. To me a bit. Where we can get it there where it fits roughly. Ooh, that pulled it right down, isn't it?
Oh yeah. That's gotta go. Oh, a bit too much.
That's it.
I've got it.
Way down.
Damn it, these times it ain't covered.
Say that again.
I said there's a reason it hasn't ever got past this point for a long time.
You're filling me with a lot of confidence right now.
Because you need a lot of balls to place your first weld. Because section it into smaller parts, sell them off.
It can't be far out, can it? It's got to be. We've got the level set here. We've got the forward level set there and there. We've got
That's
the
touching.
side level
That's touching.
set
It is.
with the headlight.
That's mega solid. I could jump on that and it won't move.
Do these hinges clear?
They're set.
One hinge is clear.
Yep. That's got nearly a full. That's better now because that's got nearly a full hole to weld through onto.
That is butted up there at the back, and you can feel that underneath.
Yeah.
So that's good.
It's perfect on these wing edges. These edges too. Look at that one there. That's almost touching there. It needs a little bit of that. That'll need a little piece put in it.
Patch for that anyway, haven't
Yeah.
we? I think you just do it.
That one needs pulling up slightly and a little bit of a bend on it. We'll get that bit of a twist. That'll go. Just try and not melt your wiring loom. Are you still on this?
Yeah, I've disconnected the battery. That should be good.
You've got to jump in the car and start welding. You've got to cover that up first because that's an expensive bit of.
Well, that can come out.
Leather.
We'll take that out. It needs to come out for paint anyway.
What are you going to do with all your switches?
Leave them in, they just unplug and I'll them in.
You know the £1,600 switch, don't you?
Thanks for reminding me.
Can't be done.
So we're just having a bit of a laugh here because what's his car seem to have had a lot of, Kevin?
This. I'm not brave enough to fix that.
You can just see where all the paint's worn off on the edges where people have just been like,
Not a chance.
just leaning on it, looking at it, like, and it's the same over that side. There's been a lot of people leaning on this car and looking at it over the years by the looks of it. Anyway, back to the job in hand. We've now got all our clecos in. This panel is now fixed in a really good position. We've got our cleats in the front, our clamps there as well. And now, what are we deciding, Kevin? What are we deciding?
Just looking at Euro spares, and we're deciding whether we are brave enough to weld that £14,000 panel on, with the risk of if it's wrong, we have to cut it off.
So these panels are actually for sale at the moment on Euro spares for £14,000 or thereabouts. So we're just looking on Euro spares at some of the prices of the parts on this car.
Let's just break it.
We could do. If it all goes wrong, at least we can chop it up and still make money.
A switch.
A switch? 1,000? Hold on. So, hold on a minute.
Yeah.
That little switch there, show me that on there. £1,326 for a switch.
Oh, look, hang on. So
Wow.
the one on the other side, the right hand, that's £1,600.
They're the same switch. Wow. Pound. Wow. £15,000 for a front panel.
That.
That is crazy.
You buy one of them for 15 grand.
Kevin's got his little foot operated Dremel type tool, and what he's doing there is just cleaning out inside of where we're spot welding to. Now we have used some weld through primer underneath there before we put this panel down, but we have found in the past that when you're spot welding, even with weld through primer, it does still affect the weld and can cause your weld to turn out a little bit crappy. So we know we've got some primer under the panel. We're just cleaning out the holes so that the welder arcs up better and we get a good solid weld in those spots. Right guys, this is it. This is the start of the full permanent welding on this nose cone. So wish me luck. Only get one shot at this. So fingers crossed it is in the right spot. It's got to be really. So let's do it. Let's get it welded in. Right, so we have spot welded all the way around there, and obviously across this front edge as well. Some of these was actually quite tricky to do. This top edge here was quite difficult to get at just with the angle that you're on with the welder. Not perfect, but it'll do. It's strong, it's solid. Obviously we are going to grind back all these as well, make them all nice and flush and basically make them disappear. And we've also got our spot welds across this front edge there as well. The next bit is going to be under here, getting this bit seam welded down here, well stitch welded, once a couple of stitches down. Obviously we are going to have to clean some of this off before we weld it. A couple of stitches in there, but it's getting there, guys. So with the front panel now tacked into place, spot welded into place, we need to get the position of this section of the wing relevant to the door and make sure this part lines up and make sure the door gap is right all the way up this edge. So this unclamped, there's a lot of movement in this panel. So what we're going to do now is get the doors on, and then once the doors are bolted on, we're going to get this panel set into a good position so that we know all the gaps are right, and then we can weld this on the inside into its permanent position.
That's pretty good.
So that is the front panel, the front clip, completely now welded and spot welded into its final position. These gaps are not perfect, but they are as close as we can get them. Obviously there is room for adjustment on the door, which we can line all this up a lot better, and obviously the body shop will take care of a lot of this for us, but that is pretty much as close as we can get it. So obviously we've got all our spot welds around the front there. We do need to grind these back, which I will be doing in the next couple of days when I get a little bit more time. Obviously the spot welds across that front there need grinding back as well. So by the time we've grinded them back, you won't see any of that. That'll be a completely flush panel. We've got our welds up inside here and inside on the bottom of the panel there as well. This side, I've just painted this line in black just to see how it looks and make sure it all lines up nice, which it seems to do. Again, we've got it welded up inside there as well. One other thing we do need to do is this car has actually got an odd door on it. This is the correct door for this model year of car, and you'll see that that handle is completely flushed off with the door. I'm going to take you around this side. This door is off a car that is a year newer than this car, so this door has been replaced at some point. And as you'll see there, that handle actually protrudes the door a little bit and has a seal around it. This is a metal handle, so what we're going to do is take this out, remove that seal, obviously scribe an edge around this, and then we'll sink that into the door. We'll seam weld this all the way around and then grind it back so it's all nice and flush and matches the other side. So that's going to be one of the next things we need to do. We've also got to put our front bumper back on, put the bonnet back on, and then see how it all lines up on the front. Hopefully all this front bumper should fit pretty well. This panel can't go anywhere else really. That is its final resting point, so I can't see any reason why that front bumper wouldn't fit. few final things to remove before it's ready to go off to the body shop. We're going to be removing these side louvers. There is some little bits of trim left inside that need to come out, and up there as well. And also the sun visors need to come out. And then we're going to protect all this and cover all this up before it goes to the body shop. They'll mask it out anyway, but just to prevent it from getting covered in dust. And also I need to cover all this up while I'm grinding these spot welds back, so it doesn't get in any of the motors. It doesn't cover all this in grinding dust and crappy, horrible stuff. So that is going to be it for this episode, guys. I hope you're enjoying this project as much as we are. Please drop us some comments, let us know your thoughts. Hit that like button. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. And we'll see you all on the next video.